Salute everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if y'all can hear me as y'all come in here, man. We gotta talk about this because something just hit me. Something just hit me as I was thinking last night on the stream that we did last night. If you guys, we got a good mic check, y'all let me know. Salute to everybody that's tapped in. I really appreciate all you guys that's in the building. We got a mic check. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the comments, man. Like the video, share the video, because I believe something serious is about to happen, period. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. And I'm talking about something major that's going to affect a lot of people that we've seen on YouTube and in certain YouTube spaces. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Again, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me in the comment section. Salute to everybody that's in here. And I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I think that it's bad right now, very bad, for certain content creators who've been in a certain space. Again, you guys let me know in the comments if y'all can hear me. I need a mic check real quick because I'm using this other software again because you guys were saying that the other one was crackling. So please let me know this because I'm about to pass some real information to you guys. This is a live stream. So let me know in the comments if y'all can hear me, man. That way we can just get on with the video. Right? I don't see anybody in the comments section. That's rare that we go this long and not see no comment in the comment section. Hold on, um let me check to see if we good. We good? Y'all can hear me? Yeah, I put it up there for y'all. We good, y'all? All right, bet. I appreciate all y'all in the chat. All right, look, man, I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I want y'all to see. I think something's going on with the feds, and I think the feds are getting ready to take down that entire manosphere, red pill atmosphere. I think that the feds are getting ready to take down everything, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And it's based off something I just heard on the news. I believe that all those people are currently or probably have been secretly or privately investigated, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And it's based off what I heard in the news, and I'm gonna let y'all hear what I heard in the news, because what I just heard in the news, this has seemed like it had been in the works. And I'm gonna tell you something. The Tate brothers, they kind of felt like Andrew and Tristan Tate kind of felt like they were cool in the United States right now. You know what I'm saying? The way they were moving around, everything that was going on, they felt like, okay, we're cool. You know, they're Donald Trump supporters. And so, you know, they probably felt like, hey, look, we ain't got nothing to worry about. It's cool. Now, all of a sudden, the feds is working with the UK officials and they come bust these dudes up and extradite these dudes when these dudes was thinking that they was going to be okay, at least until whatever situation in Romania happened, right? And I'm going to tell you guys something, and I don't think it had anything to do with the guy in Florida. It's bigger than him, and I'm going to tell y'all why. It's bigger than Ron DeSantis. It's way bigger than that guy. It's not about that because remember, he has no power when it comes to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has the most power. You know what I'm saying? The United States of America. So, nah, he's small fish. Ron DeSantis is small fish when it comes to Donald Trump. That's why the Tate brothers were able to walk around the way they were walking around because of the power level of Donald Trump. But for you guys who don't know what's going on, I'm gonna break this down for y'all, and then I'm gonna play something for y'all because when y'all hear this, I am now of the mindset that the feds have been investigating all of these people in this red pill community secretly for the last few years, and I am of the mindset that they could potentially be ready to move on different people. That's what I am of that mindset right now. And the reason why I'm of that mindset is because something that I heard them say on the news today, right? Now, for you guys who don't know, Andrew and Tristan Tate, they are brothers. They are basically considered leaders of the manosphere, or what we call red pill content, right? And there's red pill content creators on YouTube. A lot of you guys know these guys. And so, uh, you know, a lot of you guys follow these guys, you know what I'm saying? And there was a segment on TV that just came on, and that segment made me think, hold on, bro. Are the feds investigating all these guys? Because you never know if the feds got people's phones tapped for years, if they're tapping messages, following people. I'm just starting to think my mind is going 1,000 places because of what I saw. Now, let me tell y'all what's going on. So the two Tate brothers, Andrew and Tristan Tate, they were arrested in Miami last night, as I told y'all in that video last night. And that was following an extradition request that was issued by the UK's Crown Prosecution Services. Now, basically, Andrew and Tristan Tate have dual citizenship, you guys. They have a US and UK citizenship. Now, they were living in the UK, right? Back in the early 2000s, right? But they moved out the UK to the Romanians, to Romania, right? To the country Romania. Now, a lot of people thought, hey, they left the UK and went to Romania because they knew they had heat coming in the UK, and they thought that they could have protective cover if they lived in Romania. Because people are rumoring, right, that them living in Romania would have been laxed off for them. Well, they went to live in Romania and ended up getting investigated and charged in Romania. They were held in Romania prison, right? But they were released due to certain stagnance in that case, and their travel ban was lifted, right, to where they could come, and they didn't go back to the UK. Peep that now. They went to the United States of America. Now, they went to the United States of America, and remember, they're on social media all this time. They're going to different shows. They're doing different podcasts, and certain podcasts they're doing are that right up that alley of red pill, manosphere type of content. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because now, based off what I saw on TV, I think it all makes sense. I believe that the feds secretly have been investigating these guys, and I think it's an international investigation that have been investigating. I believe the investigation has swooped over a lot of people that probably didn't know they were being investigated because the feds were probably investigating the Tates, which they were investigating the Tates for a long time. Now, let's keep going because all this stuff, it gets wicked because you would think, hey, man, they probably thought they were cool in the States because of their relationship to Donald Trump. But when you find out what I tell you today and what I was telling you last night, I don't think I think they're screwed. I think it's over with, bro. And I think there's a major bust that's getting ready to come down. I believe that the feds not only were investigating them, I believe that the feds were investigating multiple people around them, multiple people that they have been doing shows with. I believe that the feds may have been listening to multiple people, following multiple people's conversations, following multiple people's movements, following what many of these people had going on. And I'm going to tell y'all why in this video. Smash the like button as y'all come on in here, share the video, like the video, because this is a very important video. Now, so anyways, they were scheduled to co-host a bare knuckle boxing event, right? Uh, Now, let me tell y'all this right now. The arrest that they just had, right, is now escalated things for them because they never thought this arrest was coming. This really caught them off guard because they thought, okay, as long as Romania ain't coming with nothing, the UK ain't coming with nothing. But secretly, the UK had been working with the United States. Secretly, the UK had been investigating. Now, let me tell y'all this, right? So the UK's CPS authorized a sweeping new round of charges stemming from an ongoing investigation by the Bedfordshire Police. Now, these charges involve four new identified victims, you guys, bringing the total of number of alleged victims in the UK case to 7 victims. Now, they allege offenses occurred between July 2010 and August 2017. Now, the brothers now face a combined 59 total charges in the UK. Andrew Tate by himself faces 42 charges. He faced 10 initial charges from 2025, including R-wording woman, human trafficking, and actually bodily harm. He now faces 32 more charges, which include 7 more counts of R-word, 3 counts of arranging or facilitating sex trafficking, 3 counts of assault, and 19 counts related to extreme rated video with images of MAN-0-SPHEREs, right? That's the worst you could ever be. And for some people who are saying, oh, this is a, listen, they got to have evidence of that. You can't just say, hey, man, this dude, we're arresting you and charging you with possession of that type of content and you ain't got the smoking gun. They're going to have to go in court and show that these guys had on their phone, their computer, or whatever, that Tate had that material and images of MAN-0-SPHEREs. And that is absolutely diabolical work. Because again, he's facing 19 counts related to extreme triple X type content and indecent images of MAN-0-SPHEREs. That's wild, y'all. Now, his brother Tristan Tate has faced 11 initial charges, including R-wording, woman, and human trafficking himself. He now faces an additional 6 charges, including 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of R word, even more, 2 further counts of R word, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating sex trafficking. Right now, the brothers again, they were originally arrested in Romania. Remember, I told you this. They had moved from the UK to Romania. Now you ask yourself, why did they move from the UK to Romania? Shit allegedly was heating up for them in the UK. They knew from what I was being reported, they knew that there were investigations going on in the UK, so they just went to Romania. Now, people think that they went to Romania, is rumors and being alleged that they went to Romania just to get off the heat off of them. That is not confirmed. That is just a rumor. I want to put that out there right now of why they went to Romania. But in December of 2022, on separate domestic charges of human trafficking, R-word, and forming an organized criminal group, they spent months under jail and house arrest while Romania and their prosecutors mounted a case against them. However, in February of 2025, a Romanian court lifted their travel restriction ban. That allowed them to leave the country, and they immediately went to Florida in a private jet. A subsequent investigation revealed that their release from Romania followed extensive back-channel lobbying efforts by high-profile American conservative figures and political envoys. Let me repeat that again. This is why I'm telling y'all this shit is bad. And remember, we just talked about the shit with Boosie and him paying a lobbyist to try to get him a pardon, right? Well, a subsequent investigation into the Tates revealed that their release from Romania followed an extensive back channel lobbying effort, you guys, by high profile American conservative figures and political envoys. So, for lack of better words, somebody big enough, strong enough, urged the Romanian government to lift the travel ban and let them boys leave up out of there, right? So they came directly to the United States, to Florida, right? Now, the UK Crown Prosecution Service have formally requested the immediate extradition of both of the brothers from the United States. Now, remember, they come to the U.S. What did they do all the time they're in the U.S.? Where do they go? They go to certain shows, certain podcasts. They go to conservative podcasts and they go to red pill content type of shows. Now, follow me now, because I'm going to tell you something that's been going on. And I have a real feeling to think that they are going to bust down that entire industry of the manosphere, red pill content. And I believe that the feds have been investigating these guys, and I believe the feds have been trying to build a case. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. So basically, the UK Crown Protection Service formally requested immediate extradition of both of the brothers from the United States to the UK. Now, this is surprising because most people say, "Hey, man, hold on, they're Trump followers. Uh, they got a lot of strong people in the government that got their back. How in the hell could this happen? This have to be a double cross." Well, the Tates, you guys, they are scheduled to appear in federal court in Miami, and what they're going to do is face initial extradition proceedings, right? And so the attorney for the Tates have come out and said this is a political hit. You know what I'm saying? He says that this is filth and slander. The same stuff that the Tate say all the time, right? This is what the lawyer's saying, right? But that U.S. lawyer, he ain't gonna be able to be worth a damn in the U.K. if he ain't got no license to practice law in the U.K. So, anyways, aside from those criminal cases, the Tate brothers face a separate UK civil trial that's scheduled for a later date, brought forward by 4 British women alleging physical and sexual abuse. The brothers are also fighting a UK court ruling regarding massive tax evasion from their online business. Now listen now. Now it's getting deep, right? So you talk about evidence, and this is the next part, right? Evidence. So, and I'm finna tell y'all why all this is going down. Evidence. The UK seems to have extreme amount of evidence, you guys, right? Now, they stated that their decision to authorize 59 total criminal charges against the Tates were based on a further file of evidence meticulously compiled by the Bedfordshire Police and Hertfordshire Constabulary, right? Constabulary, right? Now, under the UK Code of Crown Prosecutors, charges of this magnitude can only be brought if the evidence passes a rigorous 2-stage legal test. What do I mean? The evidential stage. Prosecutors must be satisfied that there is enough reliable, admissible evidence to provide a realistic prospect of a conviction against each one of those Tate brothers. The public interest stage. Prosecutors must also determine that a trial is in the public interest. Now, based on the type of charges that have been filed and related civil proceedings, the evidence that the UK government has gathered spans over several specific areas. So, one being the testimony from 7 alleged victims, right? So, the bedrock of the UK criminal case relies on extensive statements from 7 victims. Now, the original case relies on evidence from testimonies regarding 3 women, but the charges now have built a new file of evidence involving 4 additional victims who came forward regarding allegations and alleged offenses that happened between 2010 and 2017. Now, a UK High Court judge had recently thrown out a legal bid by the Tate brothers to force the disclosure of those accusers' names, ensuring that those victims or those people that's going to testify them, y'all, identities remain protected ahead of the trial. Now, also, they have digital evidence and media files. So the sheer volume of new charges against Andrew Tate, specifically the 19 counts relating to the extreme XXX rated content and indecent images of a MINOR, indicates that the British police have seized and analyzed a substantial amount of digital data. This likely includes hard drives, cloud storage, servers, or phones linked to the brothers during their time living in the UK, and also business and financial records. In addition to the violent and sexual offense charges, the UK authorities have amassed financial evidence regarding the brothers' online operations. The Tates are facing separate UK legal battles and court rulings regarding massive tax evasion and money laundering tied to their internet businesses, which required the auditing of their UK financial footprints. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all smash the like button, y'all come on in here, because what I'm telling y'all, it gets to something major, and this needs to be spoken about because this is wild, y'all. Also, you have the human trafficking and coercion files. So to back up the multiple counts of arranging and facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation, investigators in the UK have gathered evidence tracing how victims were managed. So in similar human traffic prosecutions, this typically involves text messages, emails, travel logs, and evidence of financial control or controlling prostitution for gain. Now, here's the thing, right? So you say, well, who are these witnesses? Well, they have witnesses. They've got 7 of them. And so the first 3 victims formed the basis of the 21 charges that was authorized in 2024, involving allegations of R-word, human trafficking, and actual bodily harm. Now, the 4 new victims, right? that they were discovered during an expanded investigation by the Bedfordshire Police and the Hertfordshire Constabulary, Constabulary, right? Or Constabulary. Now, allegations from those four additional women prompted this new arrest because the UK officials had previously stated they were going to wait till Romania did what they did. But when Romania was bull jabbing, UK says, nah, the hell with that. The UK went and got some more evidence that they had built up against these boys and dropped it on their ass and then went and worked with the United States. And this is what I'm telling y'all. This is where I'm getting to. So I'm breaking this down. So when I get to what I'm getting to, bro, I don't think it's just the Tate brothers. I think they investigating all these dudes. And I think it's only a matter of time before they run down on all these cats. Now it says under the UK law, victims of R-word sexual offenses are granted lifelong anonymity, right? So the Tate brothers, they wanted a legal challenge to force the prosecutors to reveal these women's names, but that British judge threw it out. The judge ruled that keeping them names secret of those victims who were going to testify against them was necessary to prevent harassment and protect them from the brothers' massive online following. I mean, the Tate brothers got a big following online, and they wanted to protect them from that. Now, also, separate from the criminal case, four British women, like I told y'all, have a civil case going on against them. So two of those women were in intimate relationships with him, and two of them work for his online webcam business that are now suing him. Now, this civil suit is handled by the firm McHugh, Jury, and Partners, and these women and their legal teams are actively cooperating with the UK authorities and may serve as key witnesses to establish patterns of behavior in the Tate brothers criminal trial, right? And also you have investigators and digital forensic witnesses as well, meaning aside from the victims themselves, the prosecution's witness list will heavily feature law enforcement personnel. Assistant Chief Constable Karina Thomas of the Bedfordshire Police confirmed that police from multiple jurisdictions have built a complex multi-year file against the Tate brothers. They have digital witnesses. And because Andrew Tate faces 19 charges related to extreme triple X content and indecent MINOR images, digital forensic experts who raided the Tate's former UK properties or analyzed their seized servers, hard drives, and the cloud data are going to be called to testify against them. Also, the financial whistleblowers on them boys. The experts auditing the Tate Brothers UK webcam and online business operations, which are also tied to separate UK multi-million dollar tax evasion and money laundering cases, will likely serve as witnesses regarding the human trafficking for financial gain charges. Now, here's the thing. Here's what should scare everybody that's in the manosphere and doing red pill content on social media that have been linked in or tapped in with the Tates. Meaning, you guys have seen the Tate brothers on their shows doing content linked in with these guys. I'm gonna tell you, they all gonna be shitting bricks after last night, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. With that arrest happening and the extradition, it can't happen without the permission of the United States of America. It can't happen without the cooperation of the United States of America. Meaning, the United States of America themselves were investigating the Tates. And if they're investigating the Tates, you better believe they're investigating everything that's around the Tates. So you don't know whose phone they had tapped, whose messages they were watching, whose movements they were following, who they had undercovers that were on this case. Man, I truly believe that some of the biggest are getting ready to go down. I'm not going to say no names, but you can catch my drift in the comment section if you follow what I'm saying. And I'm about to show you what I'm talking about in a second. I'm going to tell you why I 1000% believe it's coming down now. So basically, this was a coordinated effort between the UK and the feds from the United States of America, right? And because the brothers were living in Florida, the British authorities, they had no choice but to work directly with the United States government to secure custody of them boys, right? So basically, the US and the UK share a formal extradition treaty that outlines how suspected criminals are transferred between the two countries to face prosecution. Now, under this agreement, British authorities submitted a formal request and a file of evidence. See, this is the thing. They had to present, and they've been doing this for a while, which is why, and I'm going to tell y'all, this is why I believe the investigation opened up from the United States on the Tate brothers, because the UK officials presented the United States officials with evidence against the Tate brothers to have them extradited. They can't just say, hey, look, we got some charges. We need them extradited and brought over here right now. No, the UK had to show the United States that they had evidence against the Tate brothers. So once they show, and I'm going to tell you something, it don't matter who you got behind you. And everybody's saying, why Donald Trump didn't step up? Donald Trump cannot afford to step up behind this. Donald Trump has a whole war he got going on right now. He's got people breathing down his neck about their Epstein files, right? Because of the non-transparency with that. And now he has the midterm elections coming up where Donald Trump knows he loses the midterm elections, they're going to impeach him for a third time. And this time, they're going to try to remove him from office. There's nothing that Donald Trump could have did in this situation. His hands and the government hands are tied because they could not afford the UK putting this on blast in front of the world. And this is the reason, because I believe, and I'm going to tell you again, the British authorities, they submitted a formal request to the feds, and they gave the feds a file of evidence that detailed all the charges that they were bringing against the Tates. That's a sealed file that the United States have seen now. Only the United States and the UK government know what's in those files. And they're alleging that it's MAN-0-SPHERE content in those files. Which, bro, that trafficking, all these other allegations, bro, you're not beating this shit. This is the reason why this was approved for them to get arrested. Now, let me keep going. So let's talk about the role of the United States government. So the feds, rather than the local police, they're responsible directly for handling the international request. So this is Donald Trump's DOJ. The Department of Justice reviewed the United Kingdom's extradition request to ensure, let me repeat myself again, this is what they're not telling y'all. They had to ensure them allegations against the Tates met the legal requirements of the United States and the United Kingdom treaty. They have a treaty, right? The U.S. Marshal Service as well. So once the Department of Justice confirmed that request, right, and said that, hey, man, they got enough evidence, it meets, hey, man, they got enough evidence to get these boys, man. Once the Department of Justice, the feds, confirmed that, and a sealed warrant was issued, then the U.S. Marshals went and they got their ass yesterday afternoon. Now, listen. So they now go to court in the U.S. for a judicial stage. Now, listen to this. So the federal prosecutors will work with the Department of Justice Office of International Affairs to examine the facts of the case and ensure the evidence passes the legal muster and determine that the charges are not politically motivated. That's why the Tates are trying to say, we're political prisoners, man. It's a political thing. The Tates are trying to say this, right? The Tates have no choice but to say, oh, we're political prisoners, man. They're trying to do a political hit piece. That's why the Tate brothers are taking that angle. As if, oh, we're political prisoners. That's the only smart thing they're trying to do in this whole situation, right? And y'all, listen to what they do. In the manosphere, they bring this stuff up. Oh, this is political. Think about this. All these guys that are in this manosphere, red pill situation, they all are linked to politics somehow. Peep game now. Peep game. So if they ever get in trouble, they can say, oh, this is political hit piece. This is political. Listen now. I'm giving y'all game, right? Because when it goes to the judicial phase, the judge has to ensure that the charges are not politically motivated, right? Now, which is going to be bad for the Tates because they've been investigating them for damn near decades. Peep this now, but people will use that political shit to try to keep these people off their backs. Now, I'm telling y'all, the feds is on their, I'm telling y'all the feds been on their ass. And I've been thinking that the feds have been holding back. But when the UK came with the sledgehammer, this is gonna force the feds' hand. I'm telling y'all this, and I'm finna tell y'all why when I play what I'm about to play for y'all. So if the federal judge rules that the extradition can proceed, the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio must make the final executive decision to surrender the brothers to the British authorities. Now, the brothers can appeal the decisions and delay the process through various procedural challenges, which they will. The U.S. attorney says that they plan to fight the extradition, and they have called the UK's actions a political hit. So they're going to try to use every political power. But here's the problem, right? Here's the problem they got. Everything Donald Trump is facing right now. They've got too much on them because if the Fed, think about this, if the United States say, oh, no, we're not going to do it, and then the UK drops evidence that these dudes had any participation in MINORS crimes and any of these things, the United States government is toast, and they cannot risk that. They cannot risk the UK government coming with that smoke. Now think about why Romania fell back. Why did Romania fall back, drag their feet, fall back, fall back? But the UK said, "Oh hell no, we standing on this." Because remember, the UK moved differently. The same with the Epstein files. When the Epstein files came down, what did the UK do? They went and got Prince Andrew the F up out of there. They said, "No, your ass got to go." Meanwhile, the United States, everybody's still moving around like business as usual, which goes to show y'all that the UK is moving in a less corrupt fashion than what we see the United States of America. But I'm not finished yet. So this has all come to truth because the U.S. federal agencies have been investigating the Tate brothers for years. Now think about this. The feds in the United States have been investigating the Tate brothers for years. They say they didn't have enough evidence to arrest them, but the UK does now. So the UK, they can get enough evidence to bring 59 charges against the Tate brothers. But the feds in the US, nah, we ain't have enough. They've been investigating them for years and they couldn't find nothing. It shows you the high power. If you got the connections, man. And so you wonder why when the Tates had so much trouble, they were walking around freely like they wasn't worried about nothing. It's a lot of pressure on the United States of America now, being that the UK sitting on a blicky of full evidence. And the last thing the United States of America wants is that the UK drop that work on the whole world and expose that the United States of America may have held or protected dudes that they had evidence of crimes against MINORS. And trust me, if the United States of America tries anything to make the UK look bad on this, the UK is going to protect themselves. You better believe it. You better believe. So in the United States, the feds have been investigating Tate brothers for years. Though specific raids and arrests that were executed, right, yesterday, and to facilitate their extradition to the UK. Now, check this out. The government's involvement from the United States extends across several federal agencies, spanning counter-trafficking operations and state-level inquiries. Now, remember, the Department of Homeland Security. Investigative journalists at the New York Times revealed that anti-trafficking agents within the Department of Homeland Security had been quietly investigating the Tates for years, right? When the Tate brothers first relocated to Florida in early 2025, agents from Homeland Security intercepted them at Fort Lauderdale Airport and seized their electronics devices, their phones, and their laptops to image and analyze the contents that were within. Why do you think they did that? The UK probably already told them what was up with these guys or what they were investigating. Why do you think they did that? Now, internal investigations. Now, listen, y'all. I want y'all to listen to what I'm telling y'all now. Internal investigations subsequently revealed at that time that a White House official had reached out to senior Department of Homeland Security officials in 2025 and asked that the Tate's brothers' devices be returned to them. A move that prompted internal fears of political interference into the Department of Homeland Security's trafficking probe. Somebody from high up, according to the reports, you can go MS Now, all the people's reporting it, due to an internal investigation, subsequently revealed that a White House official reached out to senior Department of Homeland Security officials in 2025, asking that the Tate's devices be returned to them. A move that prompted internal fears of political interference into the Department of Homeland Security's trafficking probe. But it gets crazier, y'all. It gets crazier. It gets crazier. The Department of Justice serves as the legal bridge between the U.S. and the foreign governments. The Department of Justice, they reviewed the UK's formal extradition request and sealed warrant to ensure it complied with the U.S.-UK extradition treaty. The Tate's American legal team publicly claimed that the Department of Justice is being weaponized, arguing that they would formally ask the Department of Justice to evaluate what they call an egregious abuse of its own authority by doing the UK's dirty work. So the Tate brothers are now putting pressure on Donald Trump's DOJ and say, you must release us now. Remember, Andrew Tate's on record saying Donald Trump's the leader of the new world and everybody else must bow down and all this crazy talk that they do when they get on their knees for Donald Trump. But this time it may be bad because the UK holds the blicky. And let me finish. The U.S. Marshal Service, they went and got them boys, right? Now, while it's not federal, the state authorities in Florida have also launched independent investigations. Shortly after the Tates landed in the United States in 2025, Florida's Attorney General launched an official state-level inquiry into the brothers' activities and business dealings, signaling heavily localized scrutiny on them boys. Now, let me say this to you guys. If convicted, they face life in prison in the UK, and they know it. They know, the Tate brothers know, if they get deported or transported to the UK, they know it's a wrap. They're done with. It's over. It is over. And the US can't do shit. They are going to fight tooth and nail to not get on that flight over there. But the UK holds the blicky. The UK holds the blicky, you guys. And I'm going to tell you why I think that secretly there was an investigation going on. And I think that Donald Trump's time in office, once his clock ticks out in office, I believe that it's over with for the whole group that's been in that, because I believe there were investigations that were going on and may have been squashed due to what I already told y'all that was reported about what happened with them phones when the Tate brothers' phones was reportedly seized. And Department of Homeland Security senior officials were told, no, stand down. Wow. By a senior White House official. And that was reported on MS Now. You can go look that up yourself. But let me play this for you because this was stated in the UK. When I heard this today, this 1,000% set me off. 1,000%. It told me that all of these people that's in that red pill MAN-0-SPHERE situation should be shitting bricks right now. And in 1,000% fear. And smash the like button, share the video, like the video. Because when I heard this today, I said, Lord have mercy. Now it all makes sense. They probably were investigating all of these people. Because remember, when they're investigating one, they're investigating everybody they come into contact with. Right? So you better believe the feds, and they had people following these guys all over. So anybody that was in links with the Tates, any of these podcasts that were going on that had all of these women around, they need to be thinking, what the fuck is going on? Shit just got real. And they don't want the UK to drop that file on the whole world and make it seem like the United States are protecting these type of people, which is why I believe the pressure's at an all-time immense level. I believe Donald Trump and them are at their weakest right now because of the midterms coming up. And I believe if the UK drops any evidence that the United States senior officials tried, and I believe this is a flex move by the UK. Let me repeat myself again. I 1000% believe this is a flex move by the UK to put an immense amount of pressure on the United States of America. An immense amount of pressure on the United States of America to get them boys up. With the war going on, with the U.S. at odds with many people, I believe that this shit run deep. And I'm telling y'all, I believe this shit run deep. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I believe that the feds wanted to investigate a lot more, Department of Homeland Security. I believe they wanted to go deeper. But who stopped it? In 2025, who called that shot to stop that and tell them, give them the boys' phone back? But when I play this for you guys right now, this is what made me convinced. There was a reporter, and this reporter apparently had been investigating the Tate brothers for a while now. He had been investigating these Tate brothers, this reporter, you guys. Now, everybody smash the like button and share the video, because what I'm about to play y'all is crazy work. Smash the like button. Press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments, because what I'm about to play y'all, woo. Now, let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, what I'm about to play for you guys, somebody had been compiling a file on the tapes. And this file that have been compiled on the tapes, I am of the belief, 1000%, that this file that have been compiled on the tape, brothers, I believe the UK played their card right now for a reason. And that is, they know the United States is at the weakest point right now because of the war and because of everything that's going on. Now, right? Let's get to it.
2010 to 2017. Our officers have worked closely with the CPS and both national and international law enforcement agencies as part of this complex investigation. I can now confirm that officers from the United...
Now listen to what this woman says again. It's a woman, and then it's a man at the end. The woman is important because she's letting you know that they'll work directly with the United States. Now, remember, this is the same United States that the Tate brothers felt comfortable to walk around in. They felt like, oh, it's all good. You know, Trump is running this thing, boy. So they felt like, hey, man, we good.
2010 to 2017. Our officers have worked closely with the CPS and both national and international law enforcement agencies as part of this complex investigation. I can now confirm that officers from the United States have arrested both Andrew and Tristan Tate in relation to this matter overnight, and they have been detained pending ongoing legal proceedings. We understand the interest that this case will generate. We would urge the public not to speculate and to allow the legal process to be carried out correctly. I want to make it clear, there is no place for male violence against women and girls in our society, and we will continue to work tirelessly to support victims and investigate all reports made to us.
Well, our correspondent Greg McKenzie has more on those charges. In terms of the Crown Prosecution Service, they say that Andrew Tate has been charged with 7 additional counts of rape, along with further offences including alleged sex trafficking and indecent images of a child. Now, Tristan Tate has been charged with 1 count of sexual assault, 2 counts of rape, and 3 counts of arranging or facilitating trafficking for sexual exploitation. Greg Mackenzie. Well, the journalist and documentary filmmaker Matt Shea made the 2023 BBC film Andrew Tate, The Man Who Groomed the World. He explained what more we know about the brothers.
Andrew and Tristan Tate are sort of the leaders of what's called the MAN-0-SPHERE, which is this kind of movement across the internet and social media that promotes this kind of hyper-masculinity, women being submissive, women being second-class citizens. They openly support these things. They also sell courses online that train young men how to, in their eyes, be better men. However, a lot of those courses also train those young men how to groom women into submission.
How surprising is this latest arrest?
Well, it's surprising because we have to remember, right, that throughout the litany of accusations against the Tate brothers, perhaps the biggest ongoing right now is the Romanian investigation into them. So there are 2 indictments in Romania. There's one from 2023, which alleges both Andrew and Tristan Tate formed an organized criminal group and did human trafficking and were guilty of rape as well.
Listen now. Listen very closely, you guys. Listen very closely.
And extradited to the UK from Romania. So this has been a bit of a shock because it's changed that, and presumably that's because of this new evidence, in which the CPS is actually alleging now, in addition to the charges of sexual aggression, of rape, and of physical abuse that Tate was already facing in the UK, that there are now additional crimes being investigated, which include indecent images of a child, extreme pornography, and so forth, all of which they deny.
Matt, you talked about that manosphere and the sort of toxic masculinity a little earlier. That was very much in play in that Netflix series Adolescence, which seemed to really encapsulate that and highlight that kind of those kinds of values. And I suppose that in some ways the Tates are seen as a sort of fear factor or for parents really of young boys around the world who are trying to counter those kinds of influences.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Tate brothers promote in a kind of bombastic, shock jock way these hyper-masculine views and these kind of jokes about women being submissive. But, they also sell a course in which they teach you how to groom women. And the kind of charges that they're now facing, both in Romania and now in the UK, relate to a specific type of grooming and manipulation that they literally teach in the courses that they sell to young people. So it's not just that they are alleged to be radicalizing young men into misogyny, but they are actually teaching young men how to groom women.
Now, with that being said, I'm thoroughly under the belief that somehow there was an investigation that was going on into this entire orbit. They already showed y'all they were investigating the Tates. Somebody quashed that investigation. But everybody that took the Tates was surrounded by, all the people that was in that atmosphere, I think they will be shitting bricks today to see that them boys were not only arrested, but they're just a step away from being extradited and facing life in prison. And if that happens, I think all these guys know. And this is the reason why. And peep now, why a lot of guys are slowly backing off that whole, MAN-0-SPHERE, red pill type of content, because you don't know what the feds have been watching and collecting information on and studying on for the longest now. And all it seems like, because remember, Donald Trump has an expiration date as the president of the United States of America. He's not able to come in and say, oh, well, don't do this, don't do that no more. When the next administration comes in, they can say, hey, pick that up where we left that off. Or where they left that off. And then you got a whole new situation. But now, with the immense amount of pressure, you better believe the UK put hella pressure on the United States to get them boys extradited. With all the power that the Tates have behind them, the UK had to, in my opinion, the UK damn near had to put and say, look, if y'all don't uh, extradite them boys and give us some boys, we're going to show the world what is being covered up. The shit we allegedly got. And y'all don't want that. Y'all don't want to seem like you guys have that type of government. So yeah, we want those boys. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. I believe that you guys are gonna see a major fallback in that manosphere stuff because the charges that have come between the Tate brothers and them allegedly being like the leaders of that whole environment, and certain guys having them on their podcast and doing shows and having all these ladies and stuff and demeaning them and all these other things that have been going on. I believe all that's been investigated over the years. I truly believe there's been a deep investigation. Something's been holding that back. Because think about this. A lot of those guys, they get right into politics. They get right into a political space too. So it's all the same way. It's not like you rarely see guys that are in that content that are not political as well. Right? The midterms coming up. And the way it is right now with this war, that's unpopular worldwide, the government, they got their hands tied behind their back. And I believe that it's a bad situation that's getting ready to go down. The Tates being arrested like that in the United States, under Donald Trump's administration, under the same DOJ that reportedly told the Department of Homeland Security last year, hey, get them boys their phones back, when they allegedly seized their phones. You talking about, you have to be thinking about wiretaps, and then think about this. You had own state investigations. See, Donald Trump cannot pardon state. So everybody kept saying, well, Ron DeSantis, well, state investigations down there in Miami, Florida, woo, what did the state investigators have that they've been holding on to, right? Because remember, the state investigators can say, hey, look, we can wait 2 years within the statute of limitations and bring our case. They might just try to wait out Donald Trump or wait out midterms and bring their case, just so Donald Trump politically can't mess with what they want to do. Because after midterms, Donald Trump becomes a lame duck. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. I am of the belief, after listening to what I just heard, I am of the belief that the UK showed the United States some shit that they could not come off of. I am of 1,000% belief that the United Kingdom and those files that they gave to the United States, they showed the United States some shit, in my opinion, that was so bad that the United States is like, yo, y'all, hey, fuck, y'all gotta go, man. Like, we can't risk this. It's too much. Because trust what I'm telling y'all this right now. If the United States of America F around and don't turn those boys over there to the UK, watch what happened with the UK. Watch this. Watch how much of a shitstorm this become and you cannot have a file being released by the UK proving that the Tate brothers committed crimes and the United States openly knew about it and didn't do anything and protect. You can't have that. Because now, what does that do? That goes right to Donald Trump's front, and Donald Trump cannot have that right now, especially with all the Epstein file stuff going on and everything else that's going on. Man, I know the Tate brothers was so fucked up last night, man. And I truly believe, watch. So I'm telling y'all this. They change administrations. They're going to go get all, I promise y'all, they were investigating all these mofos that was in that MAN-0-SPHERE red pill content atmosphere to see what the hell is going on. Why the hell is these guys got all these women? What's going on? I guarantee you they're investigating that shit. Because I wondered why. Think about what I'm telling y'all. I wondered why. I said, why is these guys scaling back on the content that they're doing like that? Like, I noticed they scaled back a lot. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't as much as it used to be. Like the content. Like every now and then is you know what I'm saying, but it's not like, you know, how it used to be. And then you got girls on there fighting, demeaning, demonizing on these content creators. I'm just saying, bro, that shit look real spooky right now that them Tate brothers been arrested, and that the UK, and trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the same way the US can go over to the UK and investigate, the UK can have officials go to the US and investigate. And that's the same thing with the United States. Think about this. The United States have been investigating the Tate brothers for years. When they investigate the Tate brothers, they're not just investigating, they're investigating all their communications. They probably had these dudes tapped. They probably had people following these people. So everywhere they were going, all these people they were interacting with, which is why, think about this, y'all. What's the smart thing to do? Interact with people that's in a position of power. Now you wonder why they were on certain big time podcast shows that lean towards Donald Trump. Why? Because you go on here and I say all these great things about Trump, Trump is likely going to see it. And he's going to say, oh, these guys are rocking with me. Right? Think about this now. Man, there's something sinister going on, y'all. Now they're saying that they're innocent, bro. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. Based off the fact that somebody called and shut down the Department of Homeland Security, analyzing them boys' phones in 2025, that let me know right there who in the blue hell from the White House that had that type of clearance could go to senior Department of Homeland Security officials and tell them, hey, get them phone back. Think about this shit. In the UK, I'm telling y'all, they're not playing. The UK ain't playing. When the Epstein files came out, UK went after everybody. The UK literally stripped Prince Andrew of the prince. They have literally, this dude is done, Andrew. But the United States ain't done shit. The United States got all these people in the Epstein files. They ain't done a damn thing. But hold some capping ass, fake ass hearings that ain't even under oath. Think about this. So the UK, they are exposing all kind of corruption. And I'm telling y'all, the UK had to have something that was so strong in that file. They had to have something to go to the DOJ because they had to go straight to the Department of Justice in order for this to happen. For them to do that, they had to have something that was so strong that the United States had no choice but to get them boys up. And if they don't, if they play any type funny business and the UK drop anything that's hardcore evidence that show that these dudes was involved in crimes that deal with MAN-0-SPHEREs and anything else, bro, that totally destroys Donald Trump's entire administration and is instantly that matter of fact, that would end an entire presidential run. That would instantly get you impeached and removed from office. That. Trust what I'm telling you. The United States didn't let them boys go like that unless they knew they had some hellified type of evidence that they showed them in that file. And you better believe the UK, they went probably and bust down all types of evidence they had in that file. And the crazy part is when they go to court, we're going to see all of it. When they go to court, we're going to see all the evidence they had when they go to court, how deep that shit was. Right? So think about it now. And that dude, he called them the leaders of that whole content, right? And everybody that had them dudes on their channels and stuff and was having all these things going on, you had to think, like, all these different things going on, man. And man, this shit crazy, bro. It makes you think, bro. It makes you sit back and really think, like, yo, what in the hell is going on? No. Seriously, what the fuck is going on? It truly makes you think. Like, yo, this shit right here is crazy. This is wild. So everybody that's watching this video, I hope y'all understand what I'm telling y'all. This situation, man, I'm telling y'all, man, the Tates were shook. There's a video yesterday of when Andrew was getting arrested, like he was trying to throw his phone on the ground and tell the dude to pick up his phone, but the officials got his phone. It looked like he was throwing his phone to the ground. And think about this, y'all. When the feds are investigating you, they checking everybody that's in your phone. So if you're a contact that's in contact constantly with the Tates, bro, that could put the feds on you. That could get the feds all up in your shit. Like, hold on, what's going on with this guy? Now you don't even know the feds are on your radar, right? You think, oh, it's all cool, we good, you know what I'm saying? Yesterday showed you something changed. That's why their lawyer is going ballistic. The lawyer is shitting bricks because of this situation. That lawyer is going crazy because of this situation. Like, yo, this wasn't supposed to happen. Remember, because the Romanian situation, like they were dragging their fucking feet. The UK, they came and said, hold on, man, Romania ain't doing shit. Man, we going to, man, hold on, bring them other charges we got against this fool. We'll go get his ass right now, playing no games. And y'all, week 2, y'all got the war going on. The war is unpopular. Donald Trump's popularity is down in the dumps. Remember, we're a year later now. We're a year later now. When all this first happened, the war wasn't going on, right? We weren't this deep in the Epstein files situation. Now that we hear where we at in the Epstein files, the war's going on. Donald Trump's got a lot of people that don't like him in different countries. A lot of countries have soured on the United States. Man, they're under immense pressure. The midterms are coming up. Gas prices is up. Oil prices are up. Everybody's mad about the Strait of Hormuz. Man, I'm telling y'all this shit. I'm telling y'all this, right? You guys need to peep game on what's going on, right? And dudes that are around Donald Trump, they're going to start making plays against Donald Trump. Watch what I tell y'all. Once they see that ship is sinking, dudes that are around Donald Trump that want to keep any type of political career going forward, they're going to start making moves pivoting against Donald Trump. Especially you lose his midterms, which they going to get wiped out, bro. Why y'all think Donald Trump came out the other night talking about some, yeah, we got information on China and how this is trying to like mess with people's mindset? Nah, dog. People ain't going for it, man. They ain't going for it, bro. People too bad, man. Donald Trump told them he was anti-war. He was a president of non-wars. And he gets in the office, and what does he do? Goes right to war that he can't even get out of. That he can't even get out of. Right? So I'm telling y'all this, man. The UK, bro, they got the blicky. I'm telling y'all, they got the evidence they got, bro. That shit had to be so bad that the US had to bow down. I'm telling y'all this shit, bro. The US and I'm telling y'all, they are, I guarantee you, they got a file and they've been investigating all these different people that they feel like are mini Tates or under Tate or in the same mindset of the Tates. I'm telling y'all this. Watch what I tell. Based off what I heard on TV today, yep. And all these people better be scared to death because once the Trump administration is out of there, bro, the next administration is going to be looking for revenge against anything that Trump was out here effing with. I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. Watch. And I believe that the state started investigating so that they could have evidence. So when the Trump administration is out of there, they can just present that and pass that on to the next administration. And boom. Step on all that shit. I'm telling y'all, bro. I'm telling y'all. That's why I never think it's a good idea. I don't think these dudes that's doing this streaming shit with all these girls and shit acting crazy, I don't never think that's a good idea. I just don't. Not like that. Not the way they doing it. You know what I'm saying? Not the way they doing it, bro. You know what I mean? Got girls arguing, fighting on streams over years and stuff like that. Then you got dudes out here getting to it, like bossing up on these chicks on the streams and shit like this. It's borderline, I'm trying to get locked up type of activity. I'm telling y'all this. Watch what I tell y'all, man. They pushing hard lines, man. Right? They pushing very hard lines. I'm telling y'all. And so that's why I said, bro, people trying to get sent to prison doing the shit they doing, bro. That shit is wild, bro. That shit is wild. But y'all let me know what y'all feel, man. I got a bad feeling, bro. I got a bad feeling, man. You know what I mean? I got a bad feeling, bro. You know, I got to see what's going on, man. From what I've heard, I got a bad feeling about this whole situation. The fact that the Tates, I cannot believe that the Tates got arrested like that. The fact that they got arrested like that, bro, it showed you the UK got so much pressure. It was like the UK looked at the Romania and said, y'all bought and paid for it. Fuck y'all. We gonna do our own shit. And the UK went, got some more paperwork, said, okay, they bull jabbing, right? They don't let them boys, listen to the travel ban on them boys, let them boys get up out of there. Okay, cool. It seemed like as soon as that happened, the UK picked up steam on what they were going to do to the Tates. Because the Tates have a dual citizenship. So you half UK, half United States. So when they picked up on the Tates, they was like, oh, okay, that's what y'all want to do? Okay, now we're going to step on shit. And boom. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. They cannot just get those boys extradited for nothing. They had to go to the feds with some high power shit. It had to be some wild shit in them files for the feds to sign off on that shit. For the Department of Justice to sign off and say, yeah, man, I mean, bro, it had to be something. Don't you think that a phone call wasn't made to the top of the top and say, hey, man, they trying to get the Tate boys, man. Oh, for real? What the fuck is going on? What they got? Man, I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. They had, and to me, the United States has to be in fear of what the UK can show if they don't deliver them boys. Because if they don't, think about this. If the United States, after the UK have presented this evidence, if they don't deliver those boys to the UK can fuck around and play super ugly and release all that evidence they got on them and make the US look like they're harboring and protecting, right? Which brings more international heat to Donald Trump's administration. And they can't have that. Not what's going on right now. Not what's going on right now. Nope. Nope. So this situation, bro, man, this right here really surprised me yesterday that they did that arrest, because I did not think, I'm telling everybody listen to this video, I did not think at all that they were going to ever arrest the Tate brothers while Donald Trump was in office. I said, as long as Trump is in office, ain't nothing happened to them boys. What happened last night? What happened last night, it shows me that the UK got something so powerful, so big, that the United States had to bow down. There was nothing they could do to squash it. The Tate brothers' lawyer and all these people that are denying all these charges, be fair for them, they're innocent unless proven guilty in the court of law. They're denying all the charges. But it's a lot, bro. It's a lot, bro. And now I believe now what this is going to do is this is going to empower Romania to step up now. Because if Romania felt like they didn't have no power, this is going to empower Romania, in my opinion, to step up and do what they do. I'm telling you guys, I think this is very bad, man. I guarantee you guys this. I think this is a very bad situation, man. And I think it's way deeper than what we've seen. And the fact that dude, he said that they were the leaders of all this red pill MAN-0-SPHERE content, and that he had been investigating them for a minute. Listen,
additional crimes being investigated, which include indecent images of a child, extreme pornography, and so forth, all of which they deny.
Matt, you talked about that manosphere and the sort of toxic masculinity a little earlier. That was very much in play in that Netflix series Adolescence, which seemed to really encapsulate that and highlight that kind of those kinds of values. And I suppose that in some ways the Tates are seen as a sort of fear factor or for parents really of young boys around the world who are trying to counter those kinds of influences.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Tate brothers promote in a kind of bombastic, shock jock way these hyper-masculine views and these kind of jokes about women being submissive. But, they also sell a course in which they teach you how to groom women. And the kind of charges that they're now facing, both in Romania and now in the UK, relate to a specific type of grooming and manipulation that they literally teach in the courses that they sell to young people. So it's not just that they are alleged to be radicalizing young men into misogyny, but they are actually teaching young men how to groom women.
See, and that right there, I'm telling y'all, that's gonna get a lot of these dudes busted open in that specter, bro. In that sector, bro. I'm telling y'all this. Watch what I tell y'all. What he just said right there, the last part of what he said, and that was on the BBC News. He said this on the BBC News, and I was shocked. I was like, oh shit. I said, bro, they coming for all these cats. No bullshit. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. This shit finna get greasy. I think the feds gonna end up. I think these midterms mean everything. I think these midterms mean everything. I'm telling y'all this, bro. I believe the midterms mean everything. I believe that this whole shit, I believe that they anything that was aligned with Donald Trump, I believe they coming for all that shit. Right? Like, share, subscribe, man. Now I'm convinced that the feds was investigating all these guys this whole time. I'm convinced. Boy, would I love to be a fly on the wall and see what's in those files. I would love to see what the feds have compiled. Because sometimes the feds won't just get you on simple shit they can get you on. They'll let the file build and build and build over years. And then just come get you when they got enough to where you have to take a deal that's going to get you a lot of time. Think about this. Salute to everybody watching this video, man. Y'all be careful out there, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. The Tate's getting arrested yesterday, bro. That's the biggest shit ever, bro. Because the fact that they got arrested at this time when they wasn't even expecting nowhere near any arrest, it should have everybody worried that's in that atmosphere. And worried about, yo, what did I say to those dudes? What did I write to those dudes? Was anybody following me? Was anybody tapping my phone? Was anybody wearing a wire around us? Was any of these chicks that we had around plants? Undercovers? Helping build a investigation against me, a case against me. See, people, I'm telling y'all this. They will send these chicks. That's why I told y'all these niggas be playing a dangerous game doing it the way they doing it, because they will send chicks as effing plants. Trust me. And they won't bust you right then. They'll send various chicks as plants. Trying to tell y'all this. Undercovers, everything. Deep cover, all kind of shit. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. Like, share, subscribe.